Hey, Vibrant Life Center, Dr. Barrett here from Vibrant Life Center, Oakdale. We're going to do a series on all of the supplements here. We're going to start with the A's, Adrenal Calm, Adrenal Energy, and work our way down just to answer questions. I know people have questions about they feel like we're too busy, they don't want to ask and bother the doctor, but I think you find this stuff interesting. I know we're in the exam room, we used to have a series called At the View Box where we'd go over x-rays. Oh, maybe we'll do that too. Maybe go over x-rays. But today, sorry, let's get this guy right here. There we go. But today, we just want to talk about these two, Adrenal Calm and Adrenal Energy, and what is the deal with those guys. So adrenal glands, they sit on top of your kidneys. Their job is to help you respond to stress. They make cortisol. We always talk about cortisol all the time in terms of making you fat. You have too much cortisol being secreted because you're always under stress, right? Well, ideally you need that because, everybody's talking about coronavirus right now or the flu virus. It's the season. Well, you need that cortisol secretion so that your body will adapt and call up your immune system defenses against that. And that's the first stage in any injury, any stress response is cortisol. So we need this. But in our lifestyle, what we have is this constant state of stress that never seems to go away. I just took a phone call that somebody was talking about. We're going to do a workshop and everybody's stressed to no end. And this medical device equipment company said, well, we just need some tools to manage our stress. Well, there's a few things, and we talk about them all the time in terms of exercise and sleep and getting adjusted, but there are a couple of supplements that are helpful. So I want to talk about kind of the two ends of the spectrum with cortisol. The first one is early on in the stages when you're under all this stress, there's cortisol being excreted all the time and you're in this hyper responsive state. And so in which case we need to just kind of tamp that down a little bit. If it can't be done in your lifestyle, well, there is stuff you can do. So I want to talk about the Adrenal Calm first. Adrenal Calm, this is the most common situation. This is like, if you're up all night not sleeping, you got like restless legs, anxiety, that's what, hyperadrenal going crazy is. We'll talk about what happens after, it kind of wears itself out. Now you're low adrenals. This is in the early stages, right? Typically, this is a 30-something-year-old, busy, trying to run their business. Moms, you got 7 kids yelling at you. You work anyway, and then your husband leaves his socks on the floor like I do. So here's the thing. This has got a couple of things in it. And the main thing is GABA, or gamma-aminobutyric acid. And what that acts as is kind of a calming effect on your brain, and it calms down the signals so you can sleep at night. Except for it's very difficult for it to cross the blood-brain barrier. Yes, the meninges, hard to cross that. So it has to come with a transport carrier. So that's the other thing. So that comes with an amino acid, common amino acid in your diet, L-glycine. And those two things paired allow the GABA to cross the blood-brain barrier. And then it will help calm all of the signals going crazy because you're just under so much stress. So very, very helpful for that if you're, having difficulty sleeping. There's a couple other things about it too, but that's kind of the main one. I got all this crazy scientific data about it, but really, we'll save that for a workshop for you. We're not going to kill you in this video. I want to kind of make these guys short, make sense of it, but I wanted to sort these two out. The other one is Adrenal Energy. This one is kind of the polar opposite of Adrenal Calm. This is when you've been that person who, what we say is wired and tired for so long because you haven't been sleeping. You're up anxious all night. Now you have like no response. You're getting sick all the time, starting to gain weight because there's cortisol everywhere. You don't feel like doing stuff. Actually, depression starts crawling into it. Your decision making, you have brain fog. You just can't decide, and then it just the whole world seems difficult to figure out all of a sudden. That's adrenal depletion. Then we go the other route with it. Then what we want to do is build the adrenal glands back up so that they start doing what they're supposed to do again. And so in which case, when we're doing adrenal support, we want to increase the dopamine. Dopamine, you may recognize that's kind of the the go-to for just how your body works. You know, people with dopamine issues, Parkinson's comes to mind. We're not saying that's what you're talking about, but it just helps you understand the mechanism we're talking about. So here, now what we're doing is we're going to supply phenylalanine. Phenylalanine is a precursor to dopamine. Tyrosine also, so actually phenylalanine turns directly into it, and then tyrosine is a precursor to phenylalanine. So why would they both be in there? Why not just take the phenylalanine? Well, we want you ultimately to be able to not take this every day, right? So the tyrosine, another amino acid, like glycine and the other one, this is an amino acid. Tyrosine is the precursor to phenylalanine. So your body's going to start making its own phenylalanine if you give it the tyrosine in the diet. It also has a couple other things, which are methionine, which is another, this one is an essential amino acid, it's a sulfur donor, and it has a rhodiola, which is an adaptogen, which helps because at this point in the game, if you are not responding to the demands and stressors of the environment, you're getting sick, you're getting the flu for 3, 4, 5 days a week, you're getting sick for a week. That really shouldn't happen. In chiropractic, it isn't that people don't get sick. I mean, I get stuff, but if I get it because I go up north and go snowmobiling with my buddies for 2 days straight and sleep 7 hours and drive back and forth, yeah, I will end up with something by Monday or Tuesday, but I'm done with it by Wednesday. It doesn't last into the weekend. I don't ever have that in my life. Because there's just the simple steps you take every time. You go to bed, you get rest. And also, I babysit my adrenals. And you do that also by managing your diet. I could add a little bit. I'm just going to add one more thing on this. These things are stressed out by your diet. If you're eating a lot of sugar, that's going to stress these things out. You can mitigate that a little bit with one more product. And this is not a fish oil one. We got to spend an hour on fish oil. But you can mitigate that with fish oil as well. You can kind of slow that down. And the last thing that you can also add to it, we'll do another video on magnesium. It's its own story. But magnesium is also helpful in both of these situations, but predominantly helpful in the worn out, stressed out, completely toasted adrenals. So where we're trying to repair the adrenal glands, adrenal energy. So hopefully that's helpful. Both of these are somewhere around $25. You could check with the front desk. I don't know, but hopefully they're going to be helpful. So if you have questions, ask us, but this should get the ball rolling. You can also go to the website, Vibrant Life St. Paul, spelled out, and click on nutrition, and you can get there that way and learn about these that way. So, Dr. Barrett, out.